by just having one vocal layer in a song through the whole way through the song. If it's pop in those kind of genres, it's probably going to mean it feels a little bit amateurish or a little bit boring, or just doesn't have the impact and interest of something that's more properly produced. One of the things that I love doing, and I think when I'm listening to really great produced tracks, is that extra layer and extra layer of like production and intricacies, things like effects, editing, processing different bits of vocals in different ways, layering vocals, creating transitions, just helping a song to really be as interesting as possible, basically. Not every genre needs it. The more naturalistic genres would sound weird in it, but we're talking really like the electronic-based music or like R&B, dance pop, indie, electro pop, that kind of stuff. By just having one vocal layer in a song through the whole way through the song, if it's pop in those kind of genres, it's probably going to mean it feels a little bit amateurish or a little bit boring, or just doesn't have the impact and interest of something that's more properly produced. So with that in mind, I've got a bit of a song here that I'm producing, and for inspiration and just to show you something that I feel I've done quite well with this track, just this bit between coming off the end of a verse into the pre-chorus, which is like a dynamic change. And this track is great. This is a song called Running, which is by Coconut Eclipse, which is my version of the song, which I'm building for them just as a little side project, a collaboration between myself and them, if you like. So there was a bit of space because the song's quite slow, so having no vocals over this like 4-bar section just felt like it was quite a long gap without anything going on. So I thought, let's see what I can do with some vocals and create a bit of something in there that's going to be interesting and different and bring a bit of depth to the track. So this is the part of the song we're talking about.
Take some time to shine. Bruising, take some time to shine your light.
Okay, so firstly, up until that point in the song, there's been no vocal harmonies. And one thing I think is great with songs is using vocal harmonies, like bringing them in later in a song to develop it, rather than having them running the whole way through the song. And so on this song, I didn't record any backing vocals when we did the vocal session, unfortunately. I've used Quadrivox by Eventide to create this harmony.
Take some time to
It's kind of got a weird sound, but if you listen to it with the lead vocals,
take some time to
so it's in there, and it's the first time you're hearing those, so that's why it's a nice energy lift. Now, there's this delay thing going on through the whole thing. And that delay has got a feedback automation on it, and I'm using the Valhalla delay, which you won't be able to see, but you can see the automation. This automation here, that blue kind of automation, that's the feedback on the delay, which increases how much the delay repeats. But I didn't want the delay to have to be on the whole vocal and use volumes and using volume automation on that. I just took the last half of the last word here, added it to its own channel. This is a copy of that lead vocal above, you see. So when the delay happens, it's like this. And the delay is just on this channel on its own, which means it's quicker and easier for me to play around with that and edit it. If I want to move it around or add more effects to it, I can just do on that one thing without having to go into the main lead vocal and start messing around with that. So yeah, just chopped that last bit off, and the delay is only applying to the ooh sound at the end of that word. And then the automation doing the feedback you see there. You can hear that delay, and it carries through this section of the song. And it also bridges the gap between this ad-lib affected vocal, which is simply done by copying and pasting the lead vocal into its own track, adding a bunch of effects to it, and then letting it sound like this in that gap. The other thing I did on this delay chop is I've automated a reverb, which is a really big, massive reverb called Raum, R-A-U-M. It's got a really massive sound, and that yellow line is me automating the mix of the reverb. So as that delay rings out, it gets more and more reverby, and then it's sort of fading into this big washy reverb. Here it comes. And that going into a big reverb means that then in the foreground, so that moves it into the space, into the background, into this big kind of cloud of reverb. And that means then there's space for this copy-pasted vocal here. As soon as you put reverb on something, if you're going to 100% wet, that means the sound is fully in that space. You can move a sound into the background, which then gives more space for the next thing to come in and take over. I'm also automating the chorus depth. I've got a chorus that comes in on this sound, and you'll hear that chorus kick in just here. So it just goes a bit weird and wonky as it goes into the reverb. The next thing that's in there is this vocal riser, which is this. That was done by using the reverse reverb trick. Good to look that up on YouTube. There's lots of people doing it. Essentially, it's quite a well-trodden path, the old reverse reverb. You add a reverb to something, big reverb, 100% wet, and you bounce that down just as the reverb, and then you chop it and reverse it. So this vocal riser is a reverb tail reversed, so it has a sense of building. And I've chopped it just at the point where the next vocal comes in.
Shine.
So it's just that shine, this little riser just gives that bit impact. And the different ways to make them, you can even just grab them from Splice or from sample packs. I like to make my own because it's more fun. And also that riser is made out of the vocal, so it feels like it's part of the song. It's made of the same stuff. So this delay running, going into reverb, the next bit comes in.
Shine.
And that ad-lib vocal in the middle, as it disappears into the reverb, it coincides with that riser coming into the foreground. So if you think about the space of things, it's just all these layers going on. Then the main lead vocal, boom, it's right there in your face as soon as everything's kind of moved on to the next part of the song. So all of those things combined.
Take some time to
I guess the point of sharing it really is to inspire you to just experiment and think about, as a song develops, those little moments, that attention to detail and that time that gets spent in the production stages doing this kind of stuff is really where things can be really lifted, and that's where a track will sound deeper, more professional. And I'm only touching the surface. There's so much more you can do. Maybe you'll stumble on your own techniques. Just have some fun. You know, they've got all these different effects going on in the computer that you can just chuck on a track. I've only really used like delay, reverb and chorus, which are all quite sort of traditional effects. You could go crazy. You can resample stuff, you can chop things up. There's a whole host of different things you can try out just to add extra interest in these parts of the song and help it develop. All right, cool. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any other ideas yourself. If you want to share any cool vocal transition, mixing, production techniques with me, I'm all ears. I love learning new stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye. 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 Bye.